sponsored in part by DollarSeed.com for your flowers, vegetables, and herbs. All organic seeds, all only $1 a pack. DollarSeed.com. And by WillowSpringsSoap.com. Handmade soaps with simple, recognizable ingredients, making soaps using the cold kettle process while using traditional methods. WillowSpringsSoap.com.
ManureTea.com, authentic Haven brand, 100% natural soil conditioner for the home garden, for all your vegetables, herbs, and flowers. ManureTea.com, always free shipping. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Extra. I'm Holly Baird. One of the joys to growing your own food is being able to preserve it and to enjoy it year-round. So while you're getting your garden ready, another good idea to get yourself ready, whether you're canning right now or you're getting ready to can, is to take a look at your jars that you're going to use, and then even at the jars that you've already canned or preserved. One thing I want to mention is that a lot of times jars will get chips on them, especially around the rim. You do not want to use that jar for any sort of canning purpose anymore. You could use it for dry storage, such as we have here, the oat flour. And this jar, as you can see, also has a chip in it as well. So it makes a great jar for dry storage, or just simply storing anything in it. Another thing you want to look at, just in case, make sure that, especially if the older jars, you can tell they're older jars because they seem to be thicker. Just make sure that they don't have any cracks in them or anything like that, or any sort of weak spot. That way you can be sure that when you're canning, you have the best outcome possible. Another tip we have is that if you take lids from something like a peanut butter jar or even some other sort of jar, you can use that instead of using the 2-piece lids once you put it in the refrigerator, or just for dry storage again, and it just makes it nice and easy. I wouldn't recommend that for freezer storage. I would just recommend that, again, like I said, for the putting in the fridge or for the dry storage. The other thing you want to look at is you want to check all the dates to make sure that it's been with about a year to 18 months of when you preserved it. And then if it's been past that, or maybe there's something kind of funny looking going on or whatever, then you want to open them up and take a look and just check, the inside, check the inside of the lid, and make sure. Sometimes if you might find some black stuff. We had some potatoes that had been only canned for about 10 months, and there was some black stuff inside the lid, and we just decided to go ahead and throw that away and not take any chances. And the rule of thumb is, if you're ever in doubt, just toss it out, because it's better to be safe than sorry. And then when you do store the jars for long-term storage, you do want to take that band off and just leave the lid itself. That way you can reuse your bands also, and it's better because, say something funny does go inside the jar where it causes this lid to loosen, that way you'll be able to check it right away. Now this pear butter that we had, it's over 2 years old, and actually they were buried in the back of our on our canning shelf, so we're just gonna go ahead and dump them just because it's the safest thing to do. So those are some good tips and tricks and techniques to follow when it comes to canning. Another thing is check your bands. If your bands have any sort of rust, this one doesn't have any, but if it has any sort of rust on the inside, you just want to go ahead. You can recycle that. You can use it to make an art project or just reuse it for some other purpose, but you don't want to can with it. So there you go. Another thing I'd like to mention is we have started a monthly newsletter, and it's called Organic Gardening and Prepping Monthly. And it's not just about us and not just for us, it's for everybody in the gardening community to all get together and just learn different things. And we're doing it monthly because that way you can take some time to read it, and also it's just easier for people to contribute. Now, if you are interested in contributing, you can find the link to our email address in the show notes. Just send us a quick note. We'll tell you how to get in contact with us and when we need the information by. I want to talk about 2 of the contributors we had this month. One was Jen Hammer. She's different. She does different things in the gardening world, and she did a nice little article on reusing items in the garden. And then we also have Wes from Vegetate, and he did a nice little article about cover crops. So we're going to have different contributors. If you're, like I said, if you're interested in contributing, go ahead and send us an email. And you can find this as a PDF in a Google Docs form. You can find the links in the show notes for that. And also you can find it on our website along with other great information at thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com. So check it out, Organic Gardening and Prepping Monthly.
These pepper plants are coming up nice. Now, a lot of people have difficulty getting their seeds to germinate, and this could be because the seeds in the soil are too cold to germinate properly. Well, there's a couple of ways to go about fixing this problem. One being you can simply go and buy a seed starting heat mat. Now that can set you back a few dollars. There's some devices that you have in your house that do the same effectiveness. One being just a heat mat that you would have for an achy back or a sore muscle that you'd have in your bathroom. Now you simply just want to put this on a low to medium heat underneath a seed tray, and as soon as the seeds begin to germinate, you want to pull that heat away from it, or take the seeds away from the heat, because it'll cool the roots down, which will allow them to start developing, and also it will slow the chances of legginess down in your plants. As well as if you have a hot water heater, you can simply set them on until they begin to germinate. Or what we also do is we use the radiators that are available in the house to warm the soil to get the seeds to germinate quicker, and then removing them off of. Now if you have a radiator with a cover on it, you can put a piece of wood on top of it to diffuse the heat so it doesn't burn the soil or dry the soil out too quickly, and it doesn't scorch the seeds as they're trying to germinate. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe and comment. I'm Joey Barrett, and this has been a Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Extra. For more information, you can find us on our website at thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.